Alyse, and this is Lockdown Lounge Last Call, where we have those little conversations that people like to have at the bar, those little kikis. As you can see, my girl Alyse is still here. If you want to see her make a little fun cocktail, tune into the last episode. We have them right here. We did a Mommy Mojito episode. So if you want to learn how to make these drinks, tune into the last episode. We're going to get into our conversation. We're going to be talking about just being a mom and being a bartender and kind of like what it takes to survive in this industry. So Alyse has been a bartender for 12 years and she's been a mommy for 7 or 8 now? Because I'm counting the bigger.
We're at 7 years. Xander just turned 7.
7 years strong being a mama. And it has been a crazy ride. We actually had our kids around the same time. We both have 2 kids apiece.
Within 4 months.
Within 4, yeah. People thought we planned that.
Yeah, and our other friend too it was me first, then 2 months later our other friend, and then 2 months later it was you.
So yeah,
and we were inseparable before that for like 3 years. So it was funny. It was funny how it worked out, but it was very helpful. Very helpful. I think that's the way we survived. I really do.
Oh man, so what it brings me into is our Mommy Mondays. So we did this Mommy Mojito episode because we do have a ritual called Mommy Mondays.
Yes.
And I feel like they help us a lot, Alyse, don't you?
Yes, they do. They help keep us. We can have our kids in a safe space, and the kids can play and have fun, and we can be comfortable to cook, talk, eat, drink, sit. Definitely sit. That's always a part of it. You don't ever have to, we don't even have to mention that because you already know that most of the time it's going to be champagne, but we do sometimes make cocktails and do this and do that.
And it helped a lot when it still helps. We don't do them as much as we used to. I'm ashamed to say, because life gets busy and we can't do every Monday. But we still do get together and pull together a Mommy Monday. Sometimes Mommy Mondays is a Friday or a Sunday or a random Wednesday when there's like a holiday. But
the reason we did Mondays is because working in the restaurant, Monday and Tuesday are your Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday. Monday and Tuesday is a bartender's weekend. It's so we all had off Mondays together. And when you have kids, before you have kids and you're working in a restaurant, the lifestyle, you work late, you get off late, you go out, you drink, you don't even have, you have fun, and then you sleep in late. And then you start that process over again. Once you have kids, you have to completely adjust your entire lifestyle. But we were able to do it together. And that's what helped us learn how to adjust from going to sleep at 4 a.m. to actually going home and going to sleep at 1, maybe 1, because we still got off late. But and then having to getting up at like 7, 8, 9 in the morning was a huge thing. But we would reserve Mondays to where we could still feel like we were a part of that life, where we could hang out and drink and do that. But our kids would be in a safe space to play around with us as well.
And by our second kids, because we also had our second round of kids pretty close, not as close as the first batch of our kids, but we all have 2 kids apiece. And by our second round of kids, it was like that. What's that commercial where she goes, by your second kid, you're a pro at
Icky germs, icky germs. Cute. That's cute. Delete it. Cute.
By their second kid, every mom is an expert.
By our second round of kids, we really hit our stride. And we became pros in the game of balancing this bartender mommy life.
Yeah.
So a couple of questions I wanted to ask you, Alyse. There's been article after article of just the restaurant industry and how they kind of left the mommy or the woman behind as far as stuff like healthcare and harassment and tip-wise and wage-wise. How did you feel as a mom that the restaurant what the restaurant did and did not do for you, basically.
Okay, so by the time I had when I was pregnant with my son, luckily I had been working at the same restaurant for about 6 years. So maybe not that many, maybe 4.5, 5 years. So I had a little bit of pull in terms of my schedule and seniority and stuff like that, which in a restaurant that really matters in terms of getting what you want. But I worked, before I got pregnant, I worked about 50, 60 hours a week. I think I had maybe 1 or 2 days off a week, definitely Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays, and that was it, sometimes Sundays. And I did that. Once I got pregnant, I still worked about 45, 50 hours a week until I was about 8 months pregnant, and then I just couldn't take it anymore.
Oh, look.
Hold on, we have a...
It's okay.
I'm almost...
Audience, say hi to Zaya.
Say hi, this is one of the babies.
She had a little accident. Hi, sweetums.
Say hi, Mommy.
Hi.
Say hi. This is appropriate. It is mommy.
It is mommy. Mommy mojito. It's a mommy episode.
Out of the camera, just to let you guys know. All right, baby. Let me go finish.
My babies are at the sitter, so you don't get to see a glimpse of them this episode, but you guys have seen them in previous episodes.
What I was saying is I was working and you're on your feet. You don't get breaks.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, in a 5 you work 6 hours and you're guaranteed a 15 and a 30-minute break. No, you don't get breaks. It doesn't work like that. If you're a bartender, you go. And the managers were very good about if I said I needed to sit down for a minute or I need something to eat, they're like, feed her, do whatever, keep her happy. But it does take a toll. And by the time I'd be off, I'd be exhausted.
Let's talk about maternity leave.
Maternity leave did not exist. So you are allowed to take a leave. Cool. For my first child, I took 3 months. My second child, I wound up taking almost 6 months. But that is not paid leave at all. Not even for any part of it. Now, my managers let me leave and come back when I felt I was ready to come back. So that was okay. Obviously, they had to keep my job waiting for me, but I was not compensated in any way. So for me to be able to take off that 6 months, I had to prepare and make sure to save up for that. So not having a maternity leave is a huge thing. You in a restaurant, you work every night and you walk out every night with your money. So when you go to having that fast cash and working, and then all of a sudden you aren't making any money in a restaurant, if you don't work, you don't make money. There's nothing backing you up. So that was definitely scary. Because you see your bank account dwindling down and you've prepared for it, but you really don't know the anxiety that comes behind it until you go through it. And that was a lot.
Alyse works at one of the good restaurants, guys. This is like one of the best case scenarios. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of restaurants that if you have to leave to prepare yourself to give birth, you might not come back to a job. Mm-hmm. Your place might not be guaranteed at all. So I know we, usually keep it light, but I wanted to talk about just the trials and tribulations of being women in this industry, being mothers in this industry. The amazing thing is, we came out on top.
Mm-hmm. We were okay, but
worked hard. Mm-hmm. She's not only a mama at home. This one is a mama at the restaurant too. She gives people a good lashing when they mess up.
I hold people accountable.
Sense into them. So they call her Mama Alyse.
Mama Bear, yes. But you know what? Even before I had kids, you used to call me that in our circle of friends.
You were mama. You were always like, Myris,
I need to take.
Don't do that. Myris, don't get mad. Myris, go ahead and walk around real quick and take a breather. she's not that bad. And I was like, no, she's that bad. I'm going to smack her.
But then you know what? When it comes down to it, there are times when you got to you explode. You have to give it. And you know what? Yeah. That's another thing about.
Don't mess with this. Don't get on her bad side now. I've seen her be like, what? Excuse me? Let me tell you something.
That's another thing about being a woman and in the workplace and being pregnant.
Yeah.
As your managers or people that you're working with are, if you feel passionately about something or you have any type of feeling and you're pregnant, oh, she's just emotional and hormonal. It doesn't really matter how she feels. When that's not the case, when a lot of time we're upset for a validated reason, but because we're a woman and we're pregnant and everyone knows that pregnant women have hormones coursing through you, we're not allowed to have feelings. We have to hold everything in because any little thing is attributed to us being pregnant and not to us just being a person.
And don't get me wrong, yeah, sometimes it is the hormone monster or monstrous on our backs. Don't get me wrong, because, you know, we did have a manager who was also pregnant. I love her, but the hormone monster was, like, evident with her. You know, anything would set her off. So we get it. We're not saying it's not a factor at all, but don't deplete what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't dismiss or discount us just because of that. Like, at least sit back and look at the situation and decide if what we're saying is validated or not, you know? So that was a big thing for me, having to watch every single thing I said or did because I was being judged by being pregnant.
Mm-hmm. But you were still one of the hardest working people. That's the funny thing. You were judged for being pregnant, and yet you showed up all the time. Alyse rarely misses a shift, pregnant or not. She rarely misses a shift. She'll stay late. She'll come in early. Like, she's always been that employee. And yet, there were times when she was pregnant that she was criticized. And it sucked. And I saw it.
Yeah.
And I have been there as well. And it does need to change in the restaurant industry.
And go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying it does need to change in the restaurant industry. Mothers need to be more supported because we work hard for you guys. We work just as hard as the men. We work harder sometimes. So having those things like being taken care of while we're pregnant, having a paid maternity leave, there are issues that need to be addressed.
Yes. Now I can say that I have had certain managers, and this isn't, like I said, like Meyer said, I was in an ideal situation. My manager actually took some of he was able to turn like vacation / sick leave into paying me for a few weeks while I was on maternity leave. So that was nice because he didn't have to do that. So we're not saying, obviously, people will try to do what they can, but even it's not even the manager's fault. The managers are following protocol and doing what they're supposed to do. And this is industry-wide.
Trying to take down the establishment.
I know, right? And there's another thing that I wanted to address about being pregnant and bartending specifically. Yes, working in the industry and being pregnant, but when you're a bartender and you're working with alcohol and you're a pregnant woman, there's some sort of stigma about that, where there are certain guests that would come in and feel some kind of way about me making their drinks because I'm pregnant. Now, one, obviously I'm not drinking the alcohol as I'm making it. Two, I was a bartender before I got pregnant. What am I supposed to do? I can't, and being pregnant and trying to find a job while you're pregnant and having to tell your employers that you're pregnant, they're not going to want to hire you because they know that you're about to leave and go on maternity leave and do this. So I was a bartender before I was pregnant. Once I get pregnant, I'm still a bartender. And to be judged just because I'm pregnant and working with alcohol, you got to do what you got to do, you know?
It's tricky.
That was a big thing.
It's definitely a slippery slope. Now you do have some guests and customers that sympathize with you being pregnant. They go, "Oh, how sweet! she's pregnant and she's on her feet and she's working, and the tips are great and they're like very supportive. We had a lot of regulars as well that just. What about that regular that gave you an early baby shower gift? You.
Oh yeah, so I had a lot of regulars ask me. Yeah, it's not all the guests. Certain guests need to understand, like that we were people before we're pregnant, and then there's other guests, especially your regulars, that
Love us.
Your baby shower. Here they'll either give you a check sometimes, or I had guests send me baby shower gifts from my registry to my house.
I got gift cards.
Yeah, gift cards.
I got presents.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not saying it's everybody, guys.
Not everybody, but it is something that needs to be more widely addressed in terms of the restaurant side and the employment side and the guest side, educating your guests. You know.
Agreed.
So
we have to wrap this episode up. I know we could go all day on this with the fairness. We can go on the mommy coalition, but we gotta wrap this up. Alyse, baby, thank you so much for coming on the show with me.
You're very welcome.
Oh, I love you to pieces.
I love you too.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Lockdown. This is the lockdown.
I think your kid's eating sand.
Probably.
Cute.